Today you're going to see our incident dispatch team vehicle. This is our main frontline vehicle of our incident dispatch team that MetCom provides. This is a special team of MetCom, South Metro's Communications Center, that dispatchers can really dig deeper into their skills and more of a tactical level and providing on-site support. So what we're going to go over today is that truck and kind of how it's used. All right, so on a traditional scene, I'm going to kind of walk you through and setting up some of the equipment and the benefit it provides to the scene. So we're just going to kind of start on the driver's side here. Each compartment has its own setup. So the real bread and butter comes from this pull-out. This is where the dispatcher takes care of most of their work. So what this is, it's a mini comm center that pulls out. We have a couple laptops that can be either docked here or in the cab or taken with us to the IC. This laptop provides CAD. It provides, we can do radio patching, we can print maps, like any other type of computer, but really it's MetCom brought down into one computer. So we can do all of those items just in a mobile setting. Again, we have multiple radios as we assist in monitoring multiple radio channels for command for something that if they're just getting busy or overwhelmed, we can pop one in our ear and take a listen for them. So this is kind of where that dispatcher lives, if primarily on like a wildland incident, where we can be outside, park next to the IC. Depending on the incident, we can pop this laptop out, use a radio, and jump in the truck with them, but staying close to this truck so we can still stay hooked to its network. So as we kind of go walk around, we'll kind of touch on some different items that it'll do. Again, everything nowadays is all electronics, but we always want to make sure, depending on where we're at, sometimes you have to go old school on paper. So pretty much everything we have on this truck, we do have redundant paper as far as, writing different comm plans, blowing up maps, things of that nature. We can do that all on paper. So. All right, so starting in this compartment, we'll pull this tray out, but this is where the dispatcher's gear lives. All of our members have structural and wildland gear, so we could still be safe on the fire ground, and that way, we can be right up with command and be protected just like as they are, so they don't have to worry about us. All our dispatchers goes through some awareness training, some wildland training, so we know what to look out and keep ourselves safe too. So that gear will live here. This tray here, we have a very large printer. This allows us to print fast as well as print 11x17 wildland tactical maps. Our district is very fortunate that we've been able to go and pre-plan most of our district in some wildfire threat areas that we can print those maps here, get them to staging, get them to command. So that's why we have such a large printer. We've got it in a larger printer. It's black and white, where we can blow up any type of Word document, grayscale maps. We can go hang on the side of trucks, so as people come to check in with staging, they already know their assignment, they already know the comm plan, things like that. The rest of the truck are the kind of the backup redundancies. We've got some paper wildland tactical maps, as well as paper ICS forms and any type of documentation that we may need to do on paper. So as we come around to the pull-out, like I was mentioning, this is kind of where the dispatcher lives and the laptop that they use. This truck has a full David Clark system in it and intercom, so the dispatcher that's out here can still hear their comms great with just a single ear and still have good situational awareness, whether from command or just the scene. Also the intercom through the truck that allows, if we have multiple IDT members on it, we can have our own conversation and get everything we need to do. Like I said, multiple 800 radios and also VHF radios that we can monitor whatever needs to go on. Ability to get a little bit of shade. Had a fire-resistant awning put on the truck to protect all this equipment and then keep the dispatcher dry or in some shade. So it covers our work area here. Coming back around to the tray. A couple items we're going to launch here in a minute. We have a camera mast that will have a screen we'll go over. Weather station, we have that here, and this is the weather of the truck. And then some additional radios for IDT members, some 800 and VHF. So charging stations, if we're on long scenes, we can swap out iPhones, get them charged, things of that nature, as well as a screen that's connected to that laptop. So if we're pulling up different maps, the command wants to come over and kind of huddle around this, we have a larger screen so they can view it. We're not looking on a small screen, or if we're launching any type of aircraft, we can track them, or just anything that we would need documentation-wise pulled up. This next cabinet is, we call it our IT cabinet. So this truck has a full rack that runs all the electronics in this truck. We have the ability to record all the channels that come through this truck, right? All of our repeated channels, all of our ops channels. We have the ability to record those and listen to those in MetCom. If we're on any type of simplex channel, this truck records that, so we can pull tapes or listen to radio traffic if needed. We also have this truck has a satellite dish. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy. What we found in multiple parts of our district that we have really bad cell phone signal. Again, the backcountry, this truck proved itself there. No cell phone signal from anyone. We were able to launch the dish. Those that really needed it, we were able to get them on Wi-Fi. So we're still able to pull maps still over to kind of get what we need. And then again, like I said, this truck with it, there's Cat 5 ran through everything. Everything talks to each other, and that's kind of all done here. So just come around to the back. We have some, as we get into some other items, this is where it's stored in these large Pelican cases. These out. Take a peek. So in each one of these cases is a large battery pack. So very similar to folks that can buy them for in-home kind of emergency electric generators. Really, it's just a large battery pack that we've built in a deployable case that allows us to run 12 volt and 120 volt items. These can be set up wherever you need power, as well as one of these is dedicated if we launch one of our repeaters in a location that needs power. They each have a solar panel that goes along with them. On this side, we have the weather station. So as we saw on the pullout, we have a screen for weather. We can do whatever weather's going on at either at the command post or wherever this truck's located. This truck also has the ability, has a network connection, to be able to broadcast that weather to anyone with the proper login. It's back in headquarters, they can view it. Other members can view it. Anyone with a login can view the weather of this truck. So that's one of our first things we launch when we do any type of outside fire. So this cabinet, kind of your standard stuff you carry in a truck, fluids, basic tools, some fuel. We have two generators on this truck that are tied into each other. This truck can run 3 different ways. We can either have the chassis run it, we can run the whole truck with the generators, or we can plug it in. We also have the generators where we can take these off and plug them in outside of a room and run an IC or any type of command post that may need some power. All right, so this next cabinet, this is the other side of that pullout where that dispatcher traditionally lives. This is where all our cases live. This is our radio cabinet. In this case, we have a cache of 25 800 radios that we can issue on a scene. They're all built in here with a charger, mics, antennas, and 1 additional battery per radio. So we can issue those wherever there's a need. We also have a 800 repeater that's on the state tactical channel that we have that we can set up anywhere needed, as well as a VHF repeater set to one of our frequencies. That is, we can program it to whatever frequencies needed to be repeated. This cabinet also runs our mast. So we have a camera mast. As we saw in the pull-out, there was a smaller screen that had a joystick. So a full pan tilt zoom camera on the top of a 25-foot mast. As well as in the coil, we have the ability to, for our repeater, we can put the antenna on top of that, launch it all the way up, it comes down here, and we can hook our repeater right in the truck. So we're very versatile in the way we can either set up the repeater remotely or right here on the truck. So with this mast, we can run it from the pull-out where the dispatcher is usually at, zoom into a scene, try to help command find whatever they need. It's been used to find hot spots if we're close enough and things like that, but really it's good situational awareness that we're able to zoom in a lot more from the command post. So that's that set up. And then our last cabinet that we're going to go over. So we have a basic, very basic BLS kit if we come upon anything, and as well as an AED. So on this slide out, this large case, we call it MetCom in a box. This is one of 2 of our emergency evac kits for MetCom. This provides us additional cellular network, as well as 2 CAD computers and a Motorola station that we can set up and run MetCom out of a Pelican case wherever we need to set up. Currently right now, if we do have to leave, the plan is to go to a fire station and set up in one of the community rooms and be able to do what we need there. We have our ICRI, or a gateway, that we can patch unlike radio systems together. So this has the ability to hook, we can patch VHF to 800 or vice versa, or multiple different types of radios, say Paris MetCom to Motorola. And we can allow some good interoperability there if we're not on one of our state interoperability channels already at that point. And then some more just kind of cables, things like that, make sure everything works. As well as we have a sat phone for those areas of communication where we have no cell signal. The top cabinet here provides additional backup, as I was talking about, some redundancies and paper, as well as some items for our repeater, as well as a mast. So we can either set up either of our repeaters on the truck, or we have a 30-foot pole mast that we can set up and leave out wherever we need it. And some basic water, snacks, keep everyone hydrated. All right, so in the cab of this truck, in the back seat, we also have it set up like the pull-out. In the event we can work in here, poor weather or depending on the call we're on. So we have an additional laptop that we can undock and take with us, whether it be outside of the cab or in here. Hooks up all of the same networks, as well as radios with our David Clark system. We can transmit on multiple radio channels in here without having to change the radio, so we're able to monitor multiple, and as well as the intercom, whether you're in here speaking to the dispatcher outside or just in the truck together responding to the scene. We also have a vest and a helmet in here, just like I was talking about gear before, so we all have the same stuff, so the IC doesn't have to worry about us, and again, that awareness training, as well as a command board if they need any assistance tracking units, things of that nature. We can do it in the same format that they do, so we can pass it on pretty quick. Front of the truck, like a standard response vehicle with an MDT radios, and then truck with their lights, emergency lights, things of that nature. This vehicle is staffed by on-duty personnel. That's an IDT dispatcher, and that falls in a rotation based on shift and the needs of that person. So how this truck's requested, and we'll kind of go over some of the things that this truck can do on site. But how this is requested, we have certain calls that it deploys automatically, confirmed commercial structure fires, multifamily fires, large and interface brush fires, different types of hazmats, or any other call that the IC would find some of the skills and some of the items we're able to provide beneficial to the scene. What this dispatcher does is it takes the incident out of MetCom. Just because there's a large incident going on in our district, there's still day-to-day calls going on. So really allows that that call to be taken out of the comm center. Allows that dispatcher to specialize on that call. Allows the rest of the people in MetCom to run day-to-day operations.